Beautiful Faith, and we thank Kathleen. She was just singing a song, I Will Not Be Afraid, from the Beautiful Faith CD, which is in stores now. That's my little plug. Really, we're excited. And let me introduce these amazing ladies who just are our exemplary women of God. We have next to me Hannah Ford, and she's been on our show before, sharing her music. We have Melissa Disney, voiceover actress, Snow White voice, and Kathleen Carnali, an amazing talented songwriter, and Hannah Ford, Melissa, Kathleen, we're so excited that you're here.
First, I mean, the first question we've got to figure out, what is Beautiful Faith? I mean, this is an album, it's more than that.
It is. I mean, it's the CD. I mean, it's 13 songs that we put together, 13 different
Now, is that number,
artists.
is that
It's not some biblical number, no. It was just, that's how many songs fit on the CD.
You called it a movement. That's a pretty big word.
Yeah, it is,
How's
because it's a movement because what we want to do is not only have people, listen to the CD, is that with the website and Beautiful Faith events, and hopefully the music will inspire people to share their stories of Beautiful Faith. Because really what Beautiful Faith is we all have ugly, in us, like stuff that maybe we see ourselves as being ugly, or maybe. No, I'm not saying physically, but we all have ugly junk that's happened to us in our lives.
For real.
And if we don't share that and turn it to something that's like testimony that points back to God, then it just stays ugly. But if you turn it to God, then it becomes beautiful.
Now, I know you guys kind of all have your own stories, and obviously that's in your music and stuff like that, but Kathleen, let's just start. What was it like for you growing up, and how did that sort of shape your beautiful faith? Can I say it that way?
Yeah, sure.
Mine's rugged. Nothing about me beautiful.
Well, I grew up in a single parent home, and my mom was kind of mom and dad.
Yeah.
And when I was really young, I started really searching for God. He started really drawing me to himself. And I remember being just a very little child, just praying and weeping to him. And it's funny because the Bible is so true, and it says that God, he's a father to the fatherless.
Yeah. What's been the impact of you sharing your story with other people?
Especially other people who have grown up in single family homes that didn't have a father too.
Yeah, it's really been amazing. I think it was about 2 weeks ago, I had the chance to minister down in Nassau in the public schools there. But anyway, so singing about Jesus, telling about Jesus, so many kids came to know Christ. But when I was in the middle of this, God just hit me like, well, you know how he does, like, whoa, you need to share that testimony. And so I shared about not having the father and how God can be that father and all that. And after, the kids kept saying, my daddy died, such and such, and my daddy's not here, and blah, blah, and I was like, oh my goodness, and they were totally hungry for that. And it was just amazing to see their little eyes, and they were just right there. They got it. We had that connection.
That's awesome. And you recently got back from another missions trip too, right?
Africa.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But Melissa's got so many incredible stories. Like like she's got that passion for missions. But I know
you do a really good baby voice too, right?
Yeah.
Can we hear that?
Yeah.
Why? Come on. She does.
Okay. Yes.
She has to at one time.
Fast. Baby voice. There she is. I mean, joking aside, baby and the whole idea of pregnancy is actually something very personal. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when I was a teenager, I grew up like going to a Christian school and being a good girl and all that kind of stuff. But when I went to college, I just was like, I don't really need God anymore. Ended up getting knocked up, basically. And, I had told people for many years, like, those girls that get pregnant when they're unmarried or whatever and end up having an abortion, I would never do that. But then when you're in that situation, it's a whole nother story. And I felt completely alone. I felt like God hated me and I didn't know what to do. And so I ended up having an abortion, and it was horrific. It was a horrible experience. And then not only that, but I lived in shame and guilt for years and years and years, and just like put everything on top of it that I could to try to like numb the pain. And then just a few years ago, I started going through this healing process, and the Lord really took me through what it is to be healed from shame and from grief and from pain. And He's replaced the shame that used to live inside of me and just eat me alive with joy and with hope. Awesome. And He gave me this dream about seeing my daughter in heaven. Wow. And it was amazing. And I said to her, as I'm talking to her in this dream, I said, I'd named her Sarah, which most women who've had an abortion name their kids. And I said, Sarah, I'm so sorry. Will you ever forgive me? And she said, Mommy, I've already forgiven you. You just have to forgive yourself.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, are you kidding me? Oh, you know, and knowing that God's already forgiven me, because he says, you know, ask for forgiveness, I will give it. And so anyway, yeah, it just like all of a sudden I wrote this song called Sarah, and a lot of people have been coming to me and asking me for the song, and they've heard about it.
Because you have a real passion now to share this story. I mean, most people, you don't hear a lot of people kind of getting to share this sort of a story, but it's obviously very necessary and it's needed.
It's a hard one to share, but at the same time, like, I'm able to share it because I have so much joy and hope now.
So, I mean, all you guys are songwriters. I know, Hannah, you're a great songwriter, too. We've had you guys on for the past couple of weeks. I don't know if we even said that. You guys have been on this past month.
Yeah, the Beautiful Faith Month.
I mean, it's been Beautiful Faith Month around here, which we love, you know. But, I mean, how have some of the experiences, we've heard some of these stories, what experiences have helped you kind of in your songwriting and who you are today as a songwriter?
Every experience I've gone through has ended up becoming a song.
Oh, really?
Pretty much.
I hope not every experience.
Tell us about the song that's on Beautiful Faith.
Oh, the song that's on Beautiful Faith is different than a lot of my songs because it is a prayer for the children of the world. And I actually used to be a teacher, but that's actually not what this came out of. I do a lot of missions work and traveling, and I work to help children's homes and things like that. But I was reading through a prayer guide, and I just got totally overwhelmed by looking at all the different needs they have, like pray for this kid in this country and this kid in this country. And then when I travel, I see it too. And then as a teacher, I'm like, wow, they grow up so fast and they're our future. And like, I just felt this overwhelming love for them, and just, I know that we need to do like practical things, like help financially and like help with our time and our lives, but to remember to keep them in prayer too.
Why do you think it's so important for people to, you know, I don't know, share their stories? I mean, I like how you kind of said there, you know, at the beginning, not all of us have pretty background stories. We just heard two stories that are difficult stories, hard to deal with. But I mean, why do you feel like that's important for us to get that out?
Because I want to share this, well, before I go there, we need to encourage each other. And every person that shares something, like, even though I haven't lived through that exactly, I'm like, what a good God we have, you know? Because it just shows us that He's working everywhere, you know? And if I could share really quickly, when I was in grade school, I saw this chalk artist, and he drew this beautiful sunset picture, and it was gorgeous, and we're like, wow, this is amazing, and he's putting all these colors in, and then he takes this black piece of chalk and he goes, whack, whack, and we're like, what did he do? He just like ruined this painting that was, the chalk drawing that was awesome. And then he went on to tell us that sometimes things happen in our lives and they're not what we expect, and they come abruptly and they seem ugly and like they're ruining it, but God turns it into something beautiful. And he started making it like the wax into the tree trunks of palm trees, and started making these silhouettes of palm trees, and then by the end of the painting it looked like they had been there all along. And that's what God does, like He makes something so beautiful out of the things that hit us. Like He's not done. And Romans 8:28, He works all things together for good. That's good. To those who love. So yeah, we need to share because the story's not over.
No, not at all. That's awesome.
No.
Now, I mean, so this is a CD, but obviously, as we're hearing, it's much more than just a song, and it's much more than just a project. But it really is a movement of what we're talking about.
And I think the ladies just exemplified, I think, everything that Beautiful Faith is. It's the stories, it's the music, it's also turning those stories into action, like where we want to encourage women to not only just share their stories, but do something like, you know, Melissa, I know, works with a lot of pregnancy centers now because she's turned that pain into something to help other people, you know, and Hannah's obviously traveled around the world, as has Kathleen, and now they're sharing their stories with other people to help them and getting involved with ministries and organizations. Yes, we plan on doing some Beautiful Faith events, but we're gonna share a little bit more about Beautiful Faith right afterwards.
Where can you get the CD and where's the stuff at? I want to know before we go anywhere.
Melissa, tell them the website.
It is beautifulfaith.org.
Beautifulfaith.org, and there's a place there for you to put their stories as well, right?
There will be, and if you get the CD, you can hear bonus tracks in addition to the CD, such as Sarah, the song that's released nowhere else.
Come on.
Like Melissa's song and some other songs from the artists.
And there's also devotionals on there, right?
That's right.
Like each artist writes devotionals, and then so you can read the devotional.
Well, you guys are awesome.
Bonus
you guys are
track.
I want to be part of the group.
Faith is
I
want to get in.
Rugged.
Come on, thank you.